you very much, Gilbert, and thank you all for tuning in to hear the latest update on our progress in developing the Cerro Las Minitas project into the next major silver mine in Mexico. I will be making some forward-looking statements, particularly concerning our exploration and some of the work that we're currently doing to revise our current preliminary economic assessment on the project. Again, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to focus primarily on our flagship Cerro Las Minitas project, which is a silver, lead, zinc skarn system located in Durango, Mexico. It is currently one of the highest grade, undeveloped silver-based projects in the world, with indicated and inferred resources totaling 350 million silver equivalent ounces, with 40% in the indicated category and 60% in the inferred category. It is well located in an established silver mining district in Durango, Mexico, and we're surrounded by either operating or past producing mines. We released a PEA in 2022. In that PEA, called for a 15-year mine life. It had robust project economics. It was very strongly leveraged to silver and zinc and had both high revenues and free cash flow. We're currently working to update the economics on this project, and we anticipate having results in the coming weeks. We own the project 100%, which is always important as you try and develop a project to production. We have a treasury that allows us to continue operating on the project for the coming months. In terms of company catalysts, we're looking to update the PEA. It's about a month late, so it's actually in early Q2, so we anticipate later this month. We have identified further drilling on the Cerro Las Minitas project, which could continue to provide news flow to the company moving on. We have identified new targets in another project that we have, our Oro project located in southern New Mexico. And we are in the process of finalizing permitting for 2024 drilling on our Hermanas project, which is a gold to silver project, again, located in southern New Mexico. So back to Cerro Las Minitas. It is, to remind you, one of the largest and highest grade undeveloped silver-based assets in the world. On the graph below, I show where we sit in regard to tonnage and grade with respect to other comparable deposits throughout the world. We tend to be smaller in tonnage of some of the larger open pit mines. But we are an underground mine. We have a higher average grade and therefore higher average total resources than some of these open pit systems. There are, of course, larger deposits higher margin deposits like Las Chispas and Virginias, but we tend to have greater tonnage, and therefore on a contained resource basis tend to be larger than many of these projects. At the capital market structure, this is a little dated. We're actually sitting at around 20 cents right now, so that increases our market capitalization to, I think, just over 60 million Canadian, which I believe at this point remains undervalued for the asset that we have within the project. We believe that's reflected as well in the P versus NAV, which we believe should be in the 0.2 to 0.3 range. And it still sits in the teens. So we think there's some tremendous investment opportunity with the company currently. We get analyst coverage through Red Cloud Securities and Fundamental Research Corp, as well as newsletter coverage through the Silver Stock Investor and the Caesars Report. The company features an experienced management team and board with a history of success in Mexico. As you look through the profiles of particularly the various board members, you see people with experience in developing major projects, specifically in Mexico. For example, the Peñasquito project in Zacatecas, the San Nicolas project, again in Zacatecas, Nuestra Senora in the Sonora district of Mexico, and El Limon in the Guerrero district of Mexico. So it's a group of people that know and understand what major projects are, know how to bring them to production decisions, either within the companies that they're operating with, or through sale or joint venture of the projects to established miners that can bring the project into production for the benefit of the shareholder. The Cerro Las Minitas project is located within the Faja de Plata, or Belt of Silver, in north-central Mexico. It is surrounded by world-class deposits. It's very well located to the east of the Sierra Madres. We're located in the interior plateau, or the Altiplano of north-central Mexico. And so that leaves us out of the mountains. It leaves us out of the way of the narcos, and it's a very safe jurisdiction to be working in. We've spent over $35 million on acquisition and exploration on the project since 2011. And we have since updated the mineral resources since the last PEA. And we've updated our gold metallurgy and standardized other metallurgy throughout the deposit. We believe there is further upside in exploration and potentially on the engineering basis. And on the engineering basis, we will work this into the revised PEA that we anticipate being able to release the results of in the coming weeks. We have two other projects in the company, the Oro and the Hermanas project, and I won't really touch on those very much in the time that I have today. So in terms of our Cerro Las Minitas project, it's located in an active exploration and development area with superior infrastructure. We have two federal highways that run through the property, a rail line that runs south of the town of Guadalupe, Victoria, which acts as our base of operations. It's a 10-minute drive to get to what we call the area of the Cerro, and this is where the mineral resources are located. So we've got tremendous infrastructure, as well as we have our exploration permits in place. We have social license initiatives moving forward with the local ejido, and an excellent working relationship with the local ejido. And we have an exploration and development team that is embedded in the local community in Guadalupe, Victoria, as well as more broadly in Mexico. So very importantly, the face of Southern Silver in Mexico is Mexican. This is Cerro Las Minitas. This is one of the highways, or the double-laned highway that we have running through the project. And you can see some of the agrarian fields that sit in the foreground. And so what we have here are 6 zones of mineralization that occur around this hill or cerro. We have 4 known deposits on the west side, 2 on the east side, and an extension of the Mina Labacona that we call our North Felsite zone, also on the northeast side of the Cerro. Again, this is located just several hundred kilometers from a major highway and thoroughfare. This is about my only geology picture in the presentation. And this is a standard CRD skarn system, silver, lead, zinc, predominant mineralization. There's a monzonite intrusive in pink, and this is the heat pump for the system that mineralizes the skarn altered halo in green. And I've outlined the deposits, the projection, the surface projection of the deposits here in outlined in red and then highlighted in yellow. You can see in the rendering, the 3D rendering on the right, just the distribution of the mineralization around this central intrusion. And then in two areas, how some of the mineralization is localized in adjacent structures. And so this is the way that the mineralization is distributed around this central intrusion. On the west side, we have mineralization that extends to about 1 kilometer below surface. On the east side, the three eastern deposits, mineralization only extends to about 500 meters below surface, and that is simply because we have not drilled below that 500-meter level. So there is still exploration potential down dip of the mineralization that we've identified on the east side, as well as some openings on the west side, although it is a little bit deeper. This is the mineral resources. I just want to highlight the size of the resources, and that on a silver alone basis, you have over 120 million ounces of silver within the resources, again in that indicated and inferred category, as well as 2.7 billion pounds of combined lead and zinc. So this is a true polymetallic deposit with a very strong bias to silver mineralization, and that at over 100 million ounces of contained silver within a larger 350 million ounce silver equivalent resource, this remains one of the larger undeveloped silver resources in the world, both on a silver alone basis and on a silver equivalency basis. So our previous PEA was released in 2022, and this showed, in terms of the base case results, which are very effective or very good for the current spot prices, definitely. Showed after-tax NPV at a 5% of 349 million. That translates to $1.55 Canadian a share. And remember, we're only trading at about 20 cents a share right now. The internal rate of return, just under 18%. Of course, it looks better if your base case plus 15% on the prices, and that's down here, the lower footnote. We have base case revenues of $3.7 billion with an initial capex of $341 million. We see a split of revenues between silver and zinc with a bias towards the silver. And what you see are some very, very good free cash flow in the first 8 years, but then it drops off. You see that reflected. And here on this graph on the left, I show the relative value of your different metal commodities, so silver, copper, lead, and zinc, as a silver equivalency. And so for the first 8 years, you're producing 13.4 million ounces silver equivalent. It drops off in those later years. The average annual production of all the full 15-year mine life, 11.3 million ounces silver equivalent. That includes just under 5 million ounces of silver. Again, this is a significant annual silver production for just about any silver producing mine that is out there. We have a mine plan that has 24.5 million tons at an average NSR of 128. Now, how we want to make this better is that we've added a new deposit, our North Feldsite deposit. This is added resources that will help fill in this production gap in the latter part of the current mine life and extend the mine life of the project. We've added some gold recovery to the process flow sheet. So you see there is no gold revenues identified in the revenues. We've added some gold revenues. And we're also looking at optimizing both the CapEx and the OpEx of the project. So these are the things that we're doing, adding the resources, engineering upgrades, capital and contingency reduction, adding gold metallurgy to the process flow sheet. We're finding that oxide mineralization is a minor component and it won't impact things that much. And we've also looked at ore sorting, but we will leave that as an opportunity case, not in the base case of the updated technical report. And you can see how, and now with current metal prices going up, you can see that, if you're looking at current metal prices, that you have a very, very strong sensitivity to silver and zinc prices. And then as we rationalize both the initial capital and the OpEx, we again have the ability to increase the NPV value of the project. Of course, if there's other capital or mining costs that come to bear, or increased mining costs, they will bring down the NPV and the internal rate of return. But we feel fairly positive about where things are, whether it be in the base case or alternatively, when you look at current metal prices and what the analysts seem to predict metal prices moving in to the latter part of 2024 and into 2025. This has the ability to be an extremely robust project that, again, we believe is relatively undervalued at this time. So yes, it looks like I don't have a tremendous amount of time here, so I will very quickly just go through some of the exploration upside, and then I'll flip to the latter part of the presentation, the summary. If you want to see more detail on our Oro project or our Hermanus project, I would invite you to go to our website and download the presentation, or alternatively, look at some of the 3D graphics that we have embedded in the website, which can be also quite explanatory and very useful to review. So in terms of future exploration potential, you can see the west deposits here on the right, and they extend down to about 1 kilometer below surface, and that remains continued exploration potential on the east side underneath the South Skarn, La Bacona, and North Feldsite projects. We have used, we have looked at UV and XRF analysis to help locate areas that we think that we can continue following up. And you can see on one of our deposits where we put that into practice, and we're showing that there's continued exploration potential down dip of these deposits. So I've outlined a series of potential drill targets that, pending financing, we could be in a position to drill to continue expanding the resources, with the idea of adding another 4 to 8 million tons of mineralization to the resource base. This could bring the project up to over 40 million tons, which may make it more attractive to the larger miners out there. So what we're doing is continuing on the pathway to production. We're preparing the project for resource expansion, and we're currently working through the technical opportunities to upgrade the project economics towards revising the economics, or the preliminary economic assessment of the project. And I won't be able to cover Hermanus and Oro, and so I'll skip to the last slide. And so, why Southern Silver? We have diverse assets with a property package with exposure to both precious and base metals. We have a very robust asset with tremendous value in the CLM project that we are going to make better in the coming weeks with the revised PEA. So that should actually be, early Q2 2024. We've identified new drilling where we think we can add value to CLM, and we anticipate to be drilling in Hermanus in 2024. So ongoing, we have some surface exploration and targeting at CLM, and then new targeting at Oro as well. Thank you very much for your time. It looks like I have a few minutes for questions, and I'd be happy to take your questions at this time.
It's asking about Mexico. Is this still a safe jurisdiction in mining, or different states have different sort of level of political risk out there?
The short answer is the different states will have different levels of political risk. And also, I mean, there is some risk in the on the federal level as well with the new mining law that was brought in. Okay, so on the state level, we are located in Durango. Durango is one of the northern states. It's very mining friendly, and they are strong advocates for increasing mining activity. We have, to that end, we have recently joined the Durango cluster, which is primarily mining companies, but other economic companies that are looking at to advocate for mining and other economic activity in the state. On the federal level, my understanding is that this latest mining law has been suspended in anticipation of a ruling from the federal court on the legality. The sense that we have is that the law is illegal because it was brought in and passed illegally, and so it should therefore be thrown out. The fact that the law has been suspended may be an indication that the mining law will be suspended and or thrown out. And again, that's very good for the explorers and developers in Mexico at this time. So we like where we are in Mexico, and we believe that as an underground mine, we are a reduced risk for any of the environmental concerns and environmental adjustments that will come in any new mining legislation or regulation.
One last question from Grace asking you, are you raising capital anytime soon?
We believe we should be raising some money probably in the coming months. We want to get the revised PEA out and then just see how we can raise money. And so we believe this is a fairly good time with the share prices come up recently, as well as the metal prices, I think, highlight the unrealized value of the current project that we are only making better through our engineering and exploration objectives.
Great. Thank you for being with us here today, Robert.
Thank you very much, Gilbert, and thank you all for tuning in.